can take pictures. We can't stop for everything we see, and we need to keep going. We got a lot of ground to cover. So I do ask that you stay seated the entire trip. Even if we're paused, it'll only be for a second. Try to keep hands, arms, and legs inside the truck at all times. Some of this brush has some long thorns on it. We never know what we're gonna see, so that's all to keep you and the animals safe. But there's some spotting guides on the ceiling to give you an idea of something you might want to look out for. On this trip we're going to take here through East Africa is very similar to one that Disney animators took about 25 years ago when they were studying the landscape and the animals for the movie The Lion King. Hopefully we'll see just as many iconic animals as they did, so keep your eyes peeled. Let me know if you see something I don't. So we're going to start off here in the forest. The forest ecosystem is a great place to live if you're shy. It provides the animals with a lot of cover and hiding places, plus a lot of natural resources for herbivores. But these animals can be tricky to spot because they're shy and they tend to blend in with their surroundings. So if you look on the right, we've got our first sighting here. This is an okapi. The Sosai okapis were actually thought to be mythical creatures. They were not officially discovered until 1901. The stripes on the legs do give them a bit of a zebra-like appearance, but they're actually the only living relative of the giraffe. If you don't believe me, just look at their skull shape. The shape is almost identical. Their tongue is almost as long, too, if you can see it. Tongue is long enough they could reach out and lick the very tip of their ear. Now, this beautiful bird flapping around to our left is a saddle-billed stork. Hold on, I'm going to try to get closer so we can see the eye color. Alright, so take a look at the eyes. Are they brown or are they yellow? Yellow, so it's a female. You can tell the eye color will tell you the gender. Brown are the color of the male's eyes. They also don't sing like other birds. They only rattle their bills to communicate. That is a black rhino on the left-hand side here. Beautiful animal, weighs 1,000 to 3,000 pounds, but is much smaller than a white rhino would be. Now you can't tell white and black rhinos by the color usually. They're just different shades of gray. But the biggest difference between them is the shape of the mouth. They have such a pointed upper lip with a prehensile tip on it that they can grab leaves off of bushes, bark from trees. They eat over 200 different types of vegetation. White rhino are not browsers but grazers. They pretty much just eat grass. That's a bongo up there on your right, known as the ghost of the forest. It's the heaviest species of forest antelope. A full-size bongo male can weigh about 900 pounds. There's a couple more bongos on the left-hand side here. And that light-colored antelope, that is a greater kudu. Greater kudu females don't get horns like their male counterparts do. So you can tell the genders apart pretty easily. But they can jump 8 feet in the air. Very nimble and agile. Alright, so we're going to continue on our journey into this sort of wetland area here. This is the Safi River. It's going to take us a little deeper into the heart of Africa. Great place to find birds. Now if you look back on the left here, it looks like there's a rock. That's actually the back of a hippo. Hippos will spend a lot of the day in the water trying to stay cool. They can actually sleep in the water. The word hippopotamus is Latin. It means water horse. So they divide their time between land and water. At night, they come up and they feed on the vegetation. During the day, they go in the water and sleep. They're actually very close relatives of the whale, believe it or not. So like whales, they can hold their breath actively, about 8 minutes in the case of the hippo, and they have a reflex that lets them come up for air without waking up. Now, lots of birds out here too. These are pink-backed pelicans. The pink-backed pelican gets a blush color on its back during mating season. Hangs out in very large groups, incredibly social. There can be anywhere from 20 up to 500 pairs of pelican in a single group. Hippo moving around under the water. They're very good swimmers, but they usually don't swim. To conserve the energy, they hold their breath and they walk or glide under the water. These are Nile crocodile. They can also conserve their energy pretty well. Nile crocodile can eat up to 250 pounds of food in one sitting, then go months without food. crocodile also one of the only reptiles that have a close bond with their offspring. They actively hatch their eggs by putting them in their mouths, not only to incubate the egg, but to help it crack so the babies can hatch easier. They'll also raise and protect their young. The mothers will sometimes let their babies crawl into their mouths to keep them safe from threats and predators. This is a baobab tree here on your right. It goes leafless for most of the year, kind of matching the dry season. Dry season in Africa is about 9 months, so it can go that long without any leaves. Survives for an extremely long time that way. It's something that you'll see a lot of here in the savannah. Now, the savannah is home to the most famous animals in Africa. You think of famous African animals, lions, cheetah, elephants, white rhino. All of these animals call the savannah home. So hopefully we'll get some really great views. This is, of course, the ecosystem that the animators studied the most, so they could really capture the essence of Africa on film for The Lion King. The wildebeest were one of the animals that played a pretty key role in the first Lion King movie. They studied their movement, and with the new movie, to capture the scope of the group, they used CGI. Now, the reason why that's important is because there can be 1.5 million wildebeest in a single herd. That's the largest group of any animal besides human. You wouldn't want to draw that all by hand. CGI came in very handy for them. You can tell there have been wildebeest out here, as well as other animals, based on the shape of the landscape. That was something very important that the animators had to capture. The acacia trees, they look the way they do because giraffes live here. They'll eat the lower branches of the leaves, leaving only what they can't get to. Branches on the ground are signs of elephant, and the short grass, again, that's a sign of wildebeest and other grazing animals. Now, dens, though, are usually a sign of predators, so keep your eyes out for any predators that we might see over here. Don't see anything at the moment. There's a couple of dogs behind the den there. Now, they're actually better hunters than lion and cheetah. Those African wild dogs catch their prey 90% of the time they hunt for it, but they're so pack-oriented. If there's a member of the group that's sick or injured, they will not leave them behind. The entire group will stay back to take care of them. These beautiful animals closest to the truck are called springbok. They stand about 3 feet tall. They can jump 6 feet straight in the air. Behind them, sable antelope, those curved horns. They will not run away from threats. They will actually use their horns to fight them off. Those horns are about 3 to 4 feet long, and they're capable of throwing predators as big as lions off their backs. These are termite mounds. We can actually learn a lot about things from animals. Even the termites, the way they build their structures are pretty inspirational to engineers. So they don't look like much. A termite mound is made from mud, dung, and saliva. It is both temperature controlled and waterproof inside. Just the way they build them. It doesn't get any higher than 70 degrees inside of the termite mound, the way they aerate them.